it's a lot of relationship-based things. You know, you're developing relationships with suppliers, with companies, and I learned early on these have to be long-term relationships, not short-term. You know, vendors are going to do great things for you, and they're also going to let you down.
Yeah.
You got to hold them accountable, but you got to do it in a professional way.
Welcome back to Strong Conversations, real stories with the leaders, innovators, and change makers within and across the building industry. I am Sam Marcoux, and joining me now is the Vice President of Purchasing for 84 Lumber, one of the most iconic brands in our industry, Mr. Mitch Wagner. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. It's hard to complain considering the environment where we are recording this right now. We're at Nemacolin,
Right.
and this is your guys' home. And you're inviting us to be here, so I appreciate you guys letting us be here and come play podcast in your territory here. I have to say, I checked in yesterday. I've never been here before. The grounds here are amazing. And around 6 o'clock last night, the doorbell rings on the room, and I open it, and there's a young man giving me cookies, big cookies, and right. I ate them quite quickly.
Yeah,
but. That right there sold me on the. I have to come back to this place another time.
The cookies did it for you.
It was it. It's it. That's what it spoke to my soul right there.
Okay.
So, Mitch, how long have you been with 84 Lumber?
It'll be 41 years next month.
Okay. So this is unique to our industry for somebody to be with a company for over 40 years, but it doesn't seem to be unique to 84 Lumber. You guys have some pretty long tenured employees here.
We do, yeah. I mean, if you could make it maybe 3 to 5 years, then I think we have you for life.
Yeah, you're going to stay?
Yeah, I believe so.
What is it about 84 Lumber that creates that culture of people wanting to stay here and dedicate their careers to this company?
I think it's just being, it's true teamwork.
Yeah.
It's a lot of teamwork. You get a lot of good training, one-on-one training, group training. When I came into the company, there were leaders that seemed to care about me, and it just transfers to me, and I care about others.
So how'd you get started? I mean, prior to coming to 84 Lumber, I guess even just growing up, what was the dream growing up? What, in your mind's eye when you were a kid, did you want to be a baseball player, an astronaut, or what is it that you wanted to be?
You know me well. I wanted to be a baseball player,
yeah.
but I retired after about 6th grade. Everyone was getting your size, and I wasn't going anywhere. So baseball wasn't for me.
What position did you play? What did you like doing?
I was pitcher, all 3 outfield positions, and second base.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second base is a tough place to play. I mean, I'm left-handed. I had to play shortstop one year, and I was all turned around. I'm like, put me over at first base.
I was left-handed as well.
Oh, yeah? How did you play second base as a left-hander? Because you're all turned around.
You'd have to talk to my coach. I don't know.
So what was your baseball team growing up? I'm sure it's the same team in terms of professional team. Do you have a rooting interest for anyone or anything?
Well, it was the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates.
Yeah. It was since 1973.
Okay.
Okay. My dad was an Air Force officer, so every 2 years we moved. So every 2 years I had a new favorite team, but we settled in Western PA after he retired, and that's been my team.
Right on. Right on. So you said you retired in 6th grade, maybe not going pro anymore. You grow up, you go through high school, you go to college. What was the dream at that point? What did you study? What did you think you were going to go do once you were done with your education?
When I finished high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. In fact, I didn't go to college for the first year. I worked 4 different jobs, lots of hours. I did that, and then after that, well, that's really not going to advance me too much, so let's try college. My older brothers were in school. I went to IUP, not far from here, Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
My older brother was there at the time. He was majoring in accounting. He suggested, well, why don't you do accounting? So I did accounting. I got a degree in accounting, but I never liked accounting. So I got out of school. I had a summer job, and I was, what am I going to do after Labor Day? I need to get a job, a real job. I was interviewing for accounting positions, but they weren't going anywhere. I wasn't impressed with them, and they probably weren't impressed with me. There was no second interview.
Well, I mean, it didn't seem like you had a passion for it, right?
No, I didn't. No. So the guy running the concession stand suggested, well, why don't you look at 84 Lumber Company? And I knew 84 Lumber Company because I would go there with my dad, but I saw an ad in the paper a couple weeks later and showed up for an interview. There was the interview on the dock at the store, and I got hired. And he said, we have a position in Copley, Ohio, which is still further away from home. It was a 4-hour move for me to start my career at 84 Lumber for, I think it was about $4.35 an hour.
Wow.
But you got bonuses if you hit quota.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I moved 4 hours away and started like 3 days later. It happened really fast.
That's a pretty big risk for a job. I mean, if you're just starting with a company, I mean, just kind of coming into the industry to say, okay, I'm going to sort of upend my whole life and go figure this out. I mean, that's a pretty big risk.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to be without work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd been working since I was about 14, and I wasn't going to not have work. But yeah, we went to Copley, Ohio, got an apartment. She went back to school, and I worked just about every day. Well,
where is Copley, Ohio? Just to kind of orient myself.
It's Akron.
Okay.
It's a suburb of Akron.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that like when you first start with 84 Lumber? Was it something where you're like, okay, unlike accounting, I like this, I have a passion for this, the people, whatever it is, or was it something that was an acquired taste for you? Like you said, okay, over time, I think I could see myself doing something here long term, or what was that first initial sort of reaction or response to working for 84 Lumber?
Well, it was an acquired taste. The first month, I was in a new store, and we were getting ready for a grand opening.
Okay.
So I think by the third week I was there, I think I worked 106 hours that week.
Wow.
So there was, and it was a lot of dirty work, just getting everything set up. But once the store opened, we settled into a routine of sales, working with customers. It was mostly walk-in type customers. Some small remodeler people was who I waited on. And after a month or so there, well, when I moved out there, I just told myself, well, I'm going to be here at least a year.
Okay.
Okay. They kind of said, you're going to get promoted fast. Okay. And well, I'm going to stay with this company at least a year and see how that goes. So after, I think it was in June, so 10 months later, I went to interview to be a co-manager in Empire, Ohio, which is part of the Tri-Cities near Pittsburgh. The area manager didn't show up for the interview. He had something else going on. So I went back to the store, and he kind of felt bad that he missed that interview with me, and he had a spot in team headquarters. It was an inventory management position, an entry level to purchasing, and he offered me that. I said, okay, I'll take that. So it was closer to Pittsburgh. My wife's from Pittsburgh. It was closer for me to get back to where I grew up, which was about 2 hours away. So I took that job.
And went
the route of the office.
Was the hook, because that's a career shift for you, right? You're going through the manager trainee, you're going to be looking to be maybe a store manager.
Right.
And instead you switch to purchasing, which turns out to be your career choice and your career path. But was it the hook of being closer to home, and was that the enticement to say, yeah, this I want to go learn this, or was there a sense of exploration of I want to learn a new set of skills, or what was it that you said yes to?
I wasn't very strategic. Okay. I just needed a job at first. I took the job, and it was a promotion that was more money.
Okay.
So I took it.
There's
That's why I did
with
it.
That.
I wasn't sure, do I want to be a manager? Do I want to be whatever I'm going to turn out to be? It was a promotion. I took it.
So you spent 39 years on the purchasing side for 84 Lumber. So the vast majority of your career.
Right.
What is it about the purchasing side of the business in this industry that appeals to you now?
It's a lot of relationship-based things. You're developing relationships with suppliers, with companies, and I learned early on these have to be long-term relationships, not short-term. Vendors are going to do great things for you, and they're also going to let you down.
Yeah.
You got to hold them accountable, but you got to do it in a professional way. We had a lot of buyers come and go, and some of them, had great short-term strategies. Maybe they weren't that professional, but the idea of treating people with dignity and respect. So I always carried that with me with the vendor side, and also with the store side. You're a negotiator, no matter who you're talking to. You're negotiating with the vendors, obviously.
Right.
You're also negotiating with your stores today. I mean, you got to convince them that this is the brand, or this is the right price, or this is the right quality. Half your negotiation's internal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you really are looking at two different customer bases in many ways, right? You have your actual transactional customers, but you have your internal customers, like you said, the different stores, and making sure that people are working together and pulling in the same direction. And that's a skill set in and of itself, in my opinion. How do you manage that? I mean, obviously, you want to do what's right for 84 Lumber as a whole, but there's got to be differences in different areas, whether it be Ohio, California, and everywhere in between, where somebody says, yeah, that doesn't work for our area, and here's why. I mean, does that happen in your world, or is it pretty straightforward?
It does, and sometimes their concerns are legitimate, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes you show them, well, here's a better value for you.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started in purchasing, we were a top-down company. We were retail, so if you were in Pittsburgh or if you were in Bridgeville, PA, you had the same inventory.
Yeah.
Today, those two locations have different inventory based on the customer base that they serve. So
Okay.
I was there witnessing when we were top down and doing the conversion to where today we are bottom up.
Yeah.
And in that process, we had to break agreements with vendors. We had to broaden our vendor base. And today, that broadened vendor base really has shrunk just because of mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you get, and because of that, and because people move around, I never really moved around, but other people move around within companies. You never want to burn a bridge with anybody.
Right.
You could have relationships go dormant for a few years, but you never want to burn the bridge, because you never know if that one individual or that company, you may not do business with them today, but the next day they might be back in the fold. I mean, I'll give you an example. I won't mention the name of the company or the product, but there was this one company we did quite a bit of business with on a product line, and they hired one of my buyers. And you don't do that, okay? So I put them in the penalty box, okay? They're a smaller outfit, and the penalty box was, you're not getting any business the following year. You're staying out.
Yeah.
Okay? So he stayed out. He said he was sorry, whatever. He got back in, and within 3 or 4 years, he became our largest supplier in that category. Okay? So I didn't burn a bridge with that guy, and he came back strong and did well for us. Well, at the same time, when I put him in the penalty box, he came back out. One of his competitors, we just weren't meshing well, okay? We weren't meshing well at all. And they had quite a bit of business, but we were just fighting every day, and I think I sensed they were tired of us as a customer, and I was tired of them as a vendor, so we kind of shook hands like, well, we're just not going to do business for a while. So we parted ways.
Yeah.
We didn't talk for 2 or 3 years. Well, the one company that hired my guy, that he was our largest supplier in that category, got bought by the guy that I chose not to do business with. So immediately he's on the phone with me, hey, we got to work this out. And we did, and they are a vendor to us today. So again, people move around and companies change. Relationships could be dormant, but you got to keep the door cracked, because you don't know what's going to happen next.
I like that you said that it could be dormant, but not,
right.
Don't burn that bridge. It's not,
right.
It's not the end.
Don't do it with a person. Don't do it with a company. Yeah.
I'll ask you a couple questions, Mitch, because you're on the purchasing side. I am a bleeding heart salesperson, at heart.
Yeah.
There's a natural order in terms of salespeople and purchasing agents, managers, vice presidents. What advice would you give a salesperson? This is for all the salespeople out there. What advice would you give a salesperson who is calling on a purchasing person? What should they do? What should they not do in terms of getting that relationship and maintaining that relationship? Do you have any advice for salespeople out there?
I think you got to know who your customer is. You got to. We'll get cold calls from people, and they want to sell me something. And have you ever been to one of our stores? No. Well, go see one of our stores first, and look around multiple stores and see if you might have a fit with us. Right?
It's a great idea.
But for a salesperson, I mean, the ones that we're doing business with today, they're all familiar with 84 Lumber. You got to know who your buyer is. You got to know, who their boss is. you got to know who our customers are, and you got to also understand that every store may be different.
Right.
But we build programs around customers, sometimes clusters of stores, sometimes markets. But you know, for the salesperson, the advice: be honest with us. Okay, be straightforward. Don't bash your competitor.
Right.
Okay, tell us why you're different and why we should do business with you.
I think that's a mistake that a lot of, I would say, younger salespeople make is to go to that well of maybe not having the discernment between what makes you unique versus what the other company does or does not do. Mm-hmm. And one of the folks, another purchasing person in our industry, told me once was, it's my job to figure out the strengths and weaknesses of these programs and products and companies. It's not your job to tell me that. You need to focus on your stuff and how it can help my business grow. And I just thought it's pretty profound. It seems obvious, but you do have to say it out loud sometimes. Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that. Something else you'd mentioned the mergers and acquisitions and some of the changes and evolution of our industry over the last 40 years. Is that the biggest change you have experienced and seen, or is there something else that stands out that says, man, that is wildly different than when I started?
Predominantly, it's there's fewer suppliers, mm-hmm. there's fewer competitors of 84 Lumber, and there's fewer customers. Okay. Yeah. There's been consolidation at all levels of the supply chain, but the competition is still just as fierce.
Yeah. 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 That would make sense. So, like you said, the consolidation is everywhere. It's not just one element of our industry. Everything is kind of shrunk in terms of the network itself. But the people that are still around, I would imagine, are super amped to go get the business and develop the relationships and everything else.
Yeah, so. They are. I think 84's strength on the purchasing side is we're centralized.
Okay.
So the buyers that work all the purchasing agreements and the stock programs are all centralized in 84 Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Okay. Let me qualify that. We have a centralized focus. We do have 3 buyers out in Phoenix, Arizona because of a time zone change.
Okay.
But they all train in our office. Okay. They were there for 4, 5, 6 months, been in the company a while before we sent them out there. I go out there every quarter, so we stay connected with them that way. But being centralized, the advantage we have is we're broken down into 2 groups. We have commodity, which is lumber and OSB, and then we have building materials, windows, doors, trim, roofing, drywall, everything else. So we have the 2 departments, but by being centralized, the commodity buyer, maybe he's a yellow pine guy, can hear what's going on over on the window side in the same market for the same store, and that might click as far as, well, that's going to help me in what I need to do over here if we won this business or don't have this business. You're hearing conversations all day long.
Yeah.
Okay, you're at your desk, but you're also moving around a little bit.
It's that beehive of activity and like you
that's
said,
kind of getting that buzz,
right?
Yeah, it's a beehive.
Yeah, and bees work together really well, and they create honey and all kinds of fun stuff. So I like that.
We're at the office. We don't work from home. We're not remote people.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to, in this industry, a lot of industries are relationship based, but this one in particular, I've been here 24 years, almost 24 years.
Yeah.
And to me, as much as things can change and evolve and drop off or come up or be dormant and then be alive again, the relationship piece, that person-to-person interaction is really what strings everything together. Mm-hmm. And I do think working in that office environment, having other people from your team, whatever it is that they're working on, you hear it, you pick up on it. Hey, that doesn't happen if you're not in the office.
Right, right. But we do go out and travel. We're out in the field quite a bit. We'll go see suppliers. We'll take suppliers to our locations. We'll meet with customers. Whatever it takes to get the deal done. But in-person meetings is also very important. So.
Excellent. I got 2 more questions for you, and then I'll let you go because I know you're a busy guy.
Okay.
We got to get back to the beehive. So, first question of the last 2: what are you most excited about going forward? So, you've got over 40 years in this industry, over 40 years with this company. What do you see on the horizon that makes you go, man, I really wish I could do the next 40 because of this, that, or the other?
What I like is the younger people that have worked in purchasing. Mm-hmm. their career paths. Maybe they're around, I say they're younger, they might have been around 20 years, 10 years, whatever. We have some really good leaders that'll be great future leaders in the company. We have other departments, and they're headed by people that were in purchasing before. Our cost forecasting and pricing group, there's a guy, Joe Weston there. He worked in purchasing with me for many years. Dave Rumbaugh, he's over in specialty purchasing. That's all, everything that we buy that is not for resale.
Okay.
Well, he worked in my group for many, many years. The guy that's running our inventory group was in purchasing. The guy that's running merchandising was in purchasing. So it's nice to see careers develop, and the succession plan is there. It's really good.
It's very interesting because we talked to Frank Cicero, as you know, and if you guys haven't listened to that one, check it out in the archives. But very similar answer in that success for him these days is seeing the next generation of leaders within 84 Lumber start to flourish and be who they are. Which actually leads me to my last question for you. So as the sage advice giver that you have been here over the last 20 minutes on the show here, Strong Conversations, what advice would you give somebody who's maybe either into their career or starting their career, be it purchasing or anything else, a young person coming into our industry? What's the number one piece of advice you could give them? Or stated differently, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself as you were starting out, what would you tell yourself starting out?
Well, I think you've got to, there's all kinds of challenges, right? I mean, when you start out in your career, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
All right? And it will never get easier. Like, my job today isn't easier than it was on day one, but it gets better. Okay? Things get better. Like I've been in this company so long, it's sort of like a jigsaw puzzle. And maybe it has 2,000 pieces, and I could put it together really fast. And the pieces are the people, the incentives, the systems. You could just put it together really fast and understand it. You understand, the longer you're here and the more, you get to know the managers, you get to know the area managers, you get to know their habits. You understand how to approach them, okay? And then they're going to understand how to approach you as well. So it's sort of like that. Frank, he could put that jigsaw puzzle together twice as fast as me, okay? But that's sort of how I look at it.
Well, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for your time here. He is one of the puzzle masters here at 84 Lumber. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate your time, appreciate your advice and everything else. And thank you all for listening here. And stay tuned. We got more episodes of Strong Conversations coming up soon.